everybody. Welcome back to Kahler Family Farms. Today I'm planting corn conventionally. I don't know where it falls on the soil health spectrum, but I had a pretty nice cover crop growing here, and I guess you could still call it a green manure. I've been told not to always put all my eggs in one basket, so since I'm no-tilling some corn for the first time ever, green, I needed to do some corn with tillage. This farm hasn't had very much no-till on it anyway, so I don't think I'm going backwards too far. But anyways, planting corn today with an 8-row 30-inch John Deere 7000 planter. I believe it's an 84 model. And my 1982 Allis-Chalmers 8010 tractor. It is number 41 off the line of the 8010s anyways. It's early June. Later than I'd like to be planting corn, but weather hasn't cooperated. And I'm growing 97-day golden harvest corn. I'm really excited to try that. That's pretty early by our standards in this area. But I've grown as early as 99-day before, and that year it was the best corn on the farm. I will say one thing I do not like about the markers on this planter is you have to put them down before the planter, which is the opposite of any planter I've ever run. Typically, if you try to put them down with the planter down, they just kind of go up and hit the ground and they won't straighten up. So, anyhow, hope you enjoy the video. Well, we're back to the Biocoat Gold, and Filling the planter here to go plant corn today. Planting a 97-day Golden Harvest hybrid. It is G97B68. Little earlier hybrid since it is later, and I've been wanting to try some earlier stuff anyway. So, the Biocoat Gold. Wasn't really impressed with it in the soybeans. Not really the soybeans reasoning, but my white planter, I would mix it in as best I could, and it just settles out, and then it just lays in the bottom of the row unit. The corn, since it's bagged, I've been putting 2 scoops in a bag and kind of shaking the bag up, and then dumping it in the hopper slowly. And then to get the, I think they recommend 4 to 6 ounces per 100 pounds. I'm running about 80 pounds. So I've been putting 2 bags in, 2 cups in each bag, and then I've been putting 1 on top, which comes out to be about 5 ounces, or should be. Something I don't really like and I'm not impressed by is they send you a 6-gallon bucket, and it's maybe 2/3 to 3/4 full. I'm not sure if that has to do with it needing air inside of it, since it's supposed to, I don't know, but you spend like $900 for it, and they don't even give you a measuring cup for it. And so the first day, I obviously didn't have access to my kitchen scale or anything to measure it out. I just kind of figured, you know, if we're running 4 ounces per 100 pounds, we'll just get a 1/4 cup measuring spoon from my grandma, or measuring cup, and we will use that, and that should be pretty close. Well, I finally brought out the measuring, or our kitchen scale, little digital one, and I measured out a 1/4 cup, and it's 1 ounce. So most of the soybeans, I don't know if it'll be fair, because I only ran a 1/4 of what I was supposed to be putting on. I can only imagine if I was running the whole amount, how much would have settled out in the meter. Now, obviously that could be fixed, but I'm only one person. If it was bagged beans, it would have been easier, but had I had a way to kind of mix it up, or a couple pro boxes, run it back and forth with however much is supposed to go in a pro box, maybe it would have mixed and stuck to the seed better. Or if I had someone that could have been, you know, scooping it into the the trough there on the auger wagon, and it could mix in the auger. But it'd still be hard to know you're getting the correct amount on. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll see if it makes a difference on the corn. I'm not really doing a side-by-side. I'm just putting it on. So see what happens. think I'm driving straight enough. Granted, the light bar does help. One thing that blows my mind about this tractor, and it's part of the reason I wanted an 8010, is right there. I've planted almost 90 acres of corn, and I have over half a tank, and I'm almost done. This thing only holds about 80 gallons, so that would be less than a half a gallon per acre to plant. I don't know what it is in today's standards on these newer tractors with all the emissions crap on them, but I would guess that that's probably pretty darn fuel efficient even by today's standard. So this field should be pretty interesting when it comes up. It's an experiment I've wanted to do for a while. About half the field and the other field that I planted, that most of the footage came from, is a 97-day golden harvest hybrid, which is pretty early for our area, which I'm also excited to see how it does. Granted, it is later, so I kind of wanted something with less GDUs to get to maturity. But this here is a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of different hybrids just mixed together, mostly like leftover plot seed and things like that. I'm excited about it. The idea is that the hybrids will all be dropping pollen at a different time. Therefore, it should increase your window for pollination and therefore hopefully yield better. I have a friend in Michigan that does it, and he says it's his best corn every year. And he also told me that the deer don't like it, and I don't really know why they wouldn't like it over a regular field other than everything's not maturing the same. But I'm not sure what the reasoning is for there. I didn't ask, but I'll take his word for it. But I'm just kind of excited to see what it does. Even in the past, I've talked to different seed companies, and they've always said, oh yeah, whenever we do a plot, we always give the farmer the leftover seed, and they mix it all up and throw it in their planter, and it's their best field. So yeah, should be interesting to see how it ends up doing this fall, especially planted as late as it is. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video and say goodbye. Until next time, see ya. I have got to say, if there's one thing about no-till that I really like, holy crap, I planted over 2/3 the farm, 230 some acres, and this thing didn't have a lick of dust on it, and I only washed the windshield before I went to the conventional corn. It'd be the third time I need to wash the windshield since I planted conventional corn. And I didn't even plant 110 acres of it. And I mean, just look at the rims. Everything is just absolutely covered in dust. That's leaking oil, gotta fix that. There's erosion all over the place. Hopefully my no-till corn over there works out and I won't have to do this anymore. Unless I have to level up a field or something.